As Daenerys, William, and a few Sully warriors, those that were assigned to him as guards, and Missandei are heading back to Essos, she reflects back to the departure from King's Landing after William's horrifying experience known as the Veil of Passing. And she recalls that she was suddenly called attention to as a couple of Sully warriors walked his way. It's okay, let him through. It's the Lord Instructor who has been training William. So they let him go through. Can I help you? Yes, I almost forgot to give you this. It's very important. He has completed all his lessons in the class at the Citadel here in King's Landing. Very well. She takes the scroll then and opens it up and has a smile on her face as she's reading it. This is great news. This means he can go further then and complete his lessons in the kingdom where I sit in Essos. Yes, I would imagine so. I also was approached by one who works with the physician here. Not sure what it is, but he said it was something of grave importance that you have this, that perhaps your visionary may need this. Oh, yes, I know what this is about. But she doesn't say anything more about it because it's something that probably would be for the visionary only. Is there anything else? No. I did hear a rumor William fell ill. She also decides to exercise discretion and not mention anything about the Veil of Passing, not knowing that whether the Lord Instructor is on a good diplomatic side or not. Yes, well, he isn't of this world, but he has survived and come out of this, and he will need some rest, and I will take care of him, and when he's strong enough, he will return to class in Marine. Very well, then. Well, I wish you a safe voyage. Sorry if I alarmed you by rushing up the way I did. I just wanted to make sure you had his graduation certification before you took off. Well, thank you, Lord Instructor. Well, with your permission then, I will take my leave and you have a safe voyage. Thank you. And so with that, she then continues boarding the sailing vessel as he departs back to the Citadel. And so then, as she hears an announcement regarding approaching Marine, she finally looks out, coming from her thoughts of how the Lord Instructor of the Citadel of King's Landing had delivered to her a certificate. Then sees that they're approaching Marine on the sailing vessel. When they finally get docked, they make their way up the path that leads to the Pyramid Palace. And of course, William's still a little bit shaky, but slowly but surely coming out of it. Seems to be doing well. Now, I'm proud of you, William. You are for, well, what did I do? Well, while you were resting, the Lord Instructor of the Citadel and King's Landing handed me your certification. You have done well. And when you're rested and you feel strong enough, we can continue the lessons here in Marine now. Well, as long as I have pleased you, I guess then I've done well. Yes, you have. And so they continue their way, finally getting to almost to the top of the path that leads to her palace. And once they finally do make it up top, they enter the palace, and of course, everybody's getting things put away, including Missandei, and she then hugs William gently and gives him a kiss for the longest time. I want you to rest. This is not a request. I understand I will obey you. Good. I like it when you do what I tell you. You are obedient. I don't want nothing more to happen to you, you understand? Yes, Daenerys. I'm so used to you calling me Khaleesi. I see you have improved on um, knowing my name, though you still only have to work on the pronunciation, but I'm okay with this. Well, I will continue to work on it. I'm sure you will. So with that, William goes off to the chambers to rest from the long voyage and the horrific event that he had. Meantime, Daenerys goes into the meeting room and sits and thinks about everything that has happened. The visionary finally shows up. My queen? Yes, please come in. Everything went well? Yes. It was a very dramatic event. Well, there was no escaping it, as I had told you. Didn't matter if he stayed here or was in King's Landing. It was going to happen one way or another. But now it is all behind you. The worst has passed. You're sure about this? There is nothing that I have seen in my visions, and if you still trust me, my visions have not been wrong thus far. Yes, you are right. Oh, by the way, before I forget, the Lord Instructor from the Citadel of Marines said that the one that you had informed me about for your historical records of visions had given me this scroll. I believe I'm to give this to you. Oh, yes, this is what I was expecting after all. Well, I suppose unless you have any questions for me, I shall go ahead and take my leave then. No, that is fine. I do thank you for checking in on me. So with that, he bows humbly and leaves the meeting room. Sansa then comes up. My queen, are you busy at the moment, or should I come back later? No, you may come in. Sansa then comes in and sits down. I thought you might like a status report since you've been gone. Please continue. Well, nothing's happened so far, though Dario did stop by the throne room. And what does he want? Well, he said he wasn't trying to intentionally. He wasn't trying intentionally to violate his restrictions on how he is to enter the throne room. He wanted to possibly, I guess, show a type of friendship for William. That he has no ill wills of him. I told him that you would be back later because William had fell ill because he's not of this world. I hope I didn't say too much. No, you did well, exercising discretion. Thank you, my queen. Yeah, I told him I would send him a scroll as soon as you are you have returned with William. Shall I do this now, or should I wait? No, send him the scroll, but let him know in the scroll that William is resting. He has recovered, but perhaps tomorrow would be a better time when William has his full strength for being a human. I understand. Very well then. I will, unless you have anything else that I need to know or require of me, take my leave then, and I shall write this up and have it sent off. Thank you, Sansa, for having filled in. You are a queen's hand that is very dependable, especially in emergency situations like this. Well, thank you, Queen Daenerys. And so she humbly bows and then takes her leave to write the scroll for Dario. In the meantime, she gets up, goes to the balcony, and overlooking the view, much has happened, and she thinks about what could have happened. The fact that she was once gone, and a secret society of fire and blood brought her back, looking up in the sky, thinking about how she was once in the spirit world with Khal Drogo, and now being back here in this world. Is she to have the Iron Throne, the realm of the kingdoms? Is the worst over? Looking straight out again, um, she thinks about whether this is wise or should she change destiny and not let William continue. But then she gets interrupted of her meditative thoughts. My queen, you have returned with the human William. Yes, I have. The voyage went well, and William's strength returns. Twice what it was before. Missandei finally comes in. Well, it is good to hear, my queen. Daenerys, you look well. Yes, and I am happy that he is still alive. Well, the visionary did say that it was destiny that he should lead you to the Iron Throne. Am I correct? Yes, you are. You have spoken well. Well, there is also the fact that now that the worst is over, and the fact you are with child, I'm sure there's things you must be looking forward to. Yes, with a smile. I am looking forward to this. It's going to be a historical moment. Being with child, both half human and half Targaryen. Then they step inside. You must understand, Missandei. No one else must know that I am with a half human, half Targaryen child. There are those out there that already probably have hatred to the fact that there's two dragons in the world. I am the symbolical female dragon, the stronger mother of dragons. And you can imagine what would be thought of if there be a symbolical male dragon not of this world, let alone me carrying the child of one who is not of this world, being half human and half Targaryen. Yes, that would be about as, well, I would imagine, as about as much filled with grief as it was when they forced you to disown Daenerys because of the consummation that happened before you were married. Yes, so you can see my point. Yes, I will not say anything. As always, you can trust me. I know I can. She finally then sits down as she thinks about things. Daenerys also sits down. Was there something else? Well, you seem somewhat distant. She's looking down a bit. I could have lost William, and I didn't know what I was going to find when I got there. Of course, you were there with me, but when I went into clinic, I had no idea what to expect. Yet he lives, and this is not good news, is it? Yes, it is good news. Looking up again. I am happy he is alive. I cannot explain what I'm feeling right now. I shall go ahead and take my leave. I'm glad that you have traveled well. And so he takes off. Shifting her position, she then looks towards Daenerys. Did you wish to talk about it? The only thing I really have to say is, it feels so strange for me saying this. It's as if I'm falling in love again, all over again for a human, the myth and the legend, even though we've been married. To lose him, would be like losing a part of myself. Yes, and we wouldn't have the funny things that he does that are not customary of this world, or the humor that he brings with it. She kind of laughs and looks up. Yes, I would definitely miss those moments that we would have to share without William finding out so we wouldn't be embarrassed. Well, um, I'm sure then if the rumor is correct, you'll want to have many more children with William. I haven't decided this yet, but if I should, it's nice to know that I can. I had been barren for quite some time. Well, then I guess you have much to look forward to, for great will probably be the days that you and William shall have together now that he will live as long as you. Yes, we will live long and prosperous and grow old together, as it should be when one is in love. And so this gives both her and uh, uh, Missandei much to relish, because this one myth and legend, the human husband of Queen Daenerys Stormborn of the House of Targaryen, shall live out their days in true happiness. The next morning, they wake up, and of course, Daenerys knows William has studies that he still has to complete, so they lovingly dress each other, kindly fondling each other, and report themselves immediately to the banquet hall. As she has already gotten herself breakfast, finally William then comes up to the table too. Well, I guess that means it's business as usual. Um, that means I cannot show affections or give you hanky panky. She kind of looks at him kind of serious, and then looks away with a smile. What? Did I say something wrong? No, William. I don't know what a hanky panky is. Oh, well, that means, you know, uh, it's not when you act inappropriate, is it? Well, I guess it could, but I thought you liked this about me. Yes, but not when we're not in our chambers. Well, then perhaps I can give you hanky panky in the chambers. She doesn't say anything. There's a smile on her face, shaking her head. I don't know about you, William. I think you got lessons to do. Yes, you are right. I won't say another word and go right to him. So when he finishes his breakfast, again, he's smiling, watching him leave the door, because he has these few funny human sayings which are not common in her world. And so, after having done this, um, he then goes to the chambers. What he doesn't realize is that he kind of goofed, because there was no lessons, unless it's one that she intends to give him personally. She comes in after having gotten changed and goes into the uh, chambers. Oh, I was getting ready, I promise, going to my lessons. Actually, um, there is only one lesson that you need to learn. Really? I do like your dress. I thought you said you weren't going to wear this here except only on the honeymoon, though your left breast looks very beautiful. Yes, I thought you would say this. And she took his clothes off, and looks down, and his status is quite well erect, and she seems to enjoy this very much. At least nothing has changed too much, as she then drops her clothes and slaps a firm grip on him. Whoa! Daenerys. Yes. Uh, so what lesson did you have in mind? Oh, I was thinking that perhaps a lesson about maybe intimacy. Oh, we have that in my world. Good. I want to see how intimate you can be right now without the lovemaking. Perhaps tomorrow we shall do something that I want later, when I know you have your strength. So he does. He kisses her gently all over her beautiful flower, and this greatly causes her to squirm a bit. And then he surprises her, and she looks down and is enjoying the sight of his status sliding between her beautiful breasts. And she's getting short of breath, and finally he can't hold back, and he explodes his love all over her. Oh, William, this is what I wanted. You have learned your lesson well. William's turning 3 shades red, and I do love the color changes you do. And so they play with each other lovingly, and then she rolls on top of him, giving him a big kiss, and then they fall asleep in each other's arms. Well, this time, William, not having lost track of time, knows this time it is breakfast. Case point, he probably wasn't quite with it, and he thought it was breakfast, and it turned out to actually be dinner. So he finally comes in. So, are you feeling a bit better, William? Yes, I realized that last night was not breakfast, it was dinner. Yes, you were still not with it. That's why I decided to restrain myself and not share affections with you that night, because you were still coming out of that, which was the veil of passing. Yes, well, I do feel I'm getting stronger. That is good. You probably still won't be as strong as the men of our world, but I would imagine, compared to the others of your world, you'd be stronger than them, as the one that I had spoken to you when you were in a state of sleeping has stated. Well, I hope I continue to please you. Oh, you do, well, I have no doubt about this. Well, I will try not to be naughty and go to school. I mean, class. She kind of smiles again about this. I will see you later, William. That's all she says, and of course, William knows that's his cue, and he probably better get going before he says something else to get himself into trouble. So he goes down the halls and reports right into the classroom. He sees that there's a different instructor in the classroom. Perhaps it's the one that he met when he first had to learn how to speak the language of the Seven Known Kingdoms, and the first lessons before having to go to Kingslanding for the rest of the lessons. Where's the other instructor? Well, he is in charge of the main lessons. I'm in charge of the basics. You may call me Lord. I'm not the Lord Instructor, but I am his assistant. All right. William, today you're going to learn the basics. Now, I know you've already had, according to the report I have gotten a copy of Targaryen laws. But now you need to know the basics. Not all laws that are out for this amongst the Seven Kingdoms are the same. Some are different depending on where you live. That would be similar to, like, in my world that I came from. We would usually call those city ordinance laws. The city ordinance laws, of course, being within the state, like much of the kingdoms you have here, would be the basic laws. Yes, that is a good comparison, I suppose. All right, you ready for these lessons, William? It probably shouldn't take you too long. Yes, my lord. Very well, then. If anyone commits a crime, as I'm sure you already learned, they can be given an option. Instead of facing probably the worst penalty, depending on what the extent of the crime is, they are sent to what is called the Black Watch, which is at what we call the Gift, or the Wall. The Wall, since the Great White Walker War, has somewhat been repaired, and so has the Black Watch, known as Castle Black. So is Castle Black like the place of this Black Watch where the Black Watch resides? Yes. However, Castle Black also has rules. If one acts like a coward or refuses to obey a command, It is an instant death penalty. Do you understand? Uh, yeah, I'm not in trouble, am I? No, you haven't been tried, and you are due to a fair trial as set by the laws of Daenerys Targaryen. So I take it this death penalty probably would not be a pleasant one. No, you would lose your head, basically. Oh, well, I like my head where it's at, so I guess I wouldn't want to get myself, whether at Blackwatch or here, to be in that situation. No, I don't think you would. But, you've never seen Castle Black, but it's not like it used to be. It is now quite fortified. And in honor of one that used to be known as the King of the North, Jon Snow, there are banners that honor him at this place because it was a place that he had been. So it is much bigger and stronger now, I understand. Now, women, on the other hand, are never kept with the men. That's just unheard of. Women are still sent to Kingslanding and are placed in charge of what is called the Faith of the Seven. It used to be that they had dwellings within the temple, but things have changed. Since the Red Keep is quite large, certain areas of the Red Keep are designated for those who have either completed their repentance by the Faith of the Seven guidelines, and for those who are known as Silent Sisters, and that is where the women are kept. Okay, so is there any way that the women ever get out of being a Silent Sister? Yes. If they have served their time well, unlike the men of the Black Watch, they can be released, but this is only on a one-time agreement. The second time they are placed there, they are like the Black Watch and they spend the rest of their life there. Okay, I understand. Now, I'm not sure what type of religion you had, William, but long ago, because we are not like the Faith of the Seven, at least for the House of Targaryen anyway. I'm not Targaryen myself, but whenever new laws come up, document them so that if and time comes, new laws can be taught to those so they know what to expect ahead of time. The most ancient religion was that of fire and ice. They called it by an ancient house, House Tula, which was based on the he's looking at the thing. Well, it was based on the select and courage. However, I think I get it. Oh, steel and courage. I beg your pardon, William. That's okay. As they say in my world, it's all good. Yeah. So anyway, steel and courage was the very first starting. It was when the Valyrians were still around. But once the Valyrian doom had occurred, things had changed. Eventually, the House Targaryen then made the religion backed by the protection of fire and blood. And this religion then, for the longest time, had been known as give me a moment, William. I'll bring this up here. Yes, it was based on, again, fire and ice. The Fire and Blood Society had backed it, and they were even then small factions. Not much was said about them. But again, though we try to cooperate with the Faith of the Seven and send women who have done sinful things to them, keeps them somewhat off our backs, or at least off the Targaryen House of Targaryen's backs. The history between the House of Targaryen's fire and ice religion and Faith of the Seven religion have been somewhat, well, should we say, very, um, very antagonistic. You must realize that in under the religious beliefs of the gods of fire and ice, there is no shame in our world. I've been told that by Daenerys. Yes. So when you were on this human custom honeymoon, I'm sure you've seen things that would be considered ordinary and customary. The pool of passion. Yes. We believe you should never be ashamed of your bodies. For a man to show his pole and 2 stones, or a woman to show her flower and breasts, are to be loved and cherished. Nudity should never be considered a sin, though we do experience and exercise certain protocols that, of course, one would not go around with their pole and 2 stones or their flower and breast showing in the palace. Well, I guess when I start, I guess that would be something that Daenerys would punish me on. Yes, but you don't have a flower and breasts. Well, I certainly hope not. Oh, sorry. Yes, well, I was told about your human witticism and humor, but that we take this a serious matter. I'm sorry. He kind of smiles, shakes his head. So anyway, we exercise proper protocols of what is proper and what isn't. So if, let's say, some occasion comes up and you're in your privacy of your own quarters, or should Daenerys have other friends and they all decide to walk around naked in no clothes on, it is not to be considered shameful. But the Faith of the Seven always made it like a sinful thing. And so they were hunting down priests of the Targaryens and the Valyrian faith like dogs. You will eventually learn about this as time goes by. There also had been a practice of having multiple wives. Now, of course, a Targaryen could have anywhere up to 9 wives, and it was considered a normal practice. Yes, in my world they called it polygamy. Well, then we're not that far apart. No. Well, the last king who had these wives was Maegor, and he had at least 6 of them, but there was nothing recorded about whether he had successfully procreated all of them and to have children. Again, you'll learn about this should the time come when Queen Daenerys shows you the Great Hall of genealogical records. I would imagine you have not seen this yet because there are still certain places of the Pyramid Palace that are restricted to you until the time is right. I understand. It's a practice that had not happened again. The only thing that was common was for aunts and uncles to marry their nieces and nephews. And I'm sure you heard the rest in Kingslanding. Yes. When Daenerys took the throne here in the Pyramid Palace, she had, with her seal, reinstated the fire and ice god before the Great White Walker Wars, though it was pretty much still kept hush-hush because it was not something that she wanted to have a rivalry or a type of crusade by the Faith of the Seven to start hunting them down again. So it was kept within those who were faithful to the fire and ice gods. I understand. Now then, do you know anything about how to know the expressions of a Targaryen? I know you're human and you have limited senses and intelligence and IQ, no offense. No, that's okay. I'm an alien to your world. I come from Earth, and I would imagine I don't have certain character traits that probably Targaryens do. Well, all Targaryens, but only especially one in particular, pertains to that of a queen. Now, this is in relation to knowing the signs of whether you're about to be in trouble, or if she's having some type of grief, or if you may not be going to sleep right away. That is, she has much affection to show. I understand. So, this is what you should know. And he takes out a paper and hands it to William. Now, this isn't something for you to study as an example. And as soon as I get to here, oh, nope, that's not it. Okay. Well, I might have to have you give me back the one I just gave you, because I'm not finding it. And I know I just had it here. Alright, so let's see if I can check it this one. Nope, it's not in that one. So, is this about, by any chance, eye color? It's interesting you should mention that, William, because yes, why do you ask? Well, I'm not sure if I should mention it or not. You can speak freely. Well, William's not sure how to start. There was a couple of times that I thought I saw Daenerys' eyes glow blue. Do you know why that happened? Well, not exactly. Well, there was a reason for this. I guess we'll just have to bring it up here. I know I had it here somewhere. Sometimes it's hard for me to find certain files. I guess that's why I'm not Lord Instructor yet, because I have a hard time finding things. But, I knew I'd find it. Okay, sorry about that, William. Didn't mean to hold you up. Okay, if, for your own benefit, you want to learn when to say or do things not, these will help you. And it's not just because of the Queen. There's other, I'm sure eventually, when some years have gone by and, well, you'll learn about why others are in hiding. You'll learn about this. If Daenerys is feeling annoyed or anger, though it's not quite noticeable, her pupils may flash red, or the outer rings around the pupils may glow red. This usually means that you need to back off or else face the consequences. Well, that's good to know. I guess I shall make sure to look for this. When you were come down ill, others had noticed this, and it's usually because of anguish, fear, or despair. The outer rings will glow a lavender in color. And this usually means she needs comfort, counsel, or solutions from one who is a trusted advisor. This doesn't happen all the time, but in certain drastic situations, these signs can appear under stress and much drastic needs. So, this happened, we noticed, when we heard you fell ill. Okay. So, I guess that means she was concerned about me. Yes, I would imagine so. Now, this one, not to get personal, William. And again, there's no shame in our world, but I would imagine you two share affections as much as a husband and wife should. Yeah, I suppose I could agree with that. It's okay. You don't have to say anything if you're not comfortable with it, but we already know you love the Queen, so. In any case, the blue that you had mentioned, Was it a deep blue? Um, yeah. Yes, my lord. Well, there's a reason for this. It doesn't happen all the time when you should show affection to each other. It is a sign that only Targaryens know, and just much like a chamber pot or certain other features they have, like how we filter the air that we breathe, because your nose is not like our noses. It is something private. It is not merely talked about all the time. But during certain affections, um, you'll notice that this happens during extreme mating rituals and much lovemaking. It indicates the desire to bear children with whom she has chosen as her mate, usually a trait only found in a Targaryen female of royalty, such as a princess or queen. The eyes will glow blue, but not all the time. When the eyes glow blue, that means she wants to mate with you, and much will be that practice and have children with you. So, my best advice to you, William, is be prepared not to sleep right away because you may be worn out. Well, again, sorry I had to be so personal, but these are certain traits that you don't know about because you're only human. I understand. So, now that we have finally gotten past that, um, do you have any questions? No, not that I can think of. Very well then. How much do you know about the blue and red comet? Well, I know a little bit about what the astronomer told me. Well, long before you came here, William. You know, symbolism is everything. Yes, I have heard this. Well, at the time, they were parallel to each other, but it was based on a prophecy of your coming here. The blue went up into the red, much in a mating like way, and once it was completely disappeared within the red, it came back out again. This meant that one out of the world was due to arrive, and by coming back out, the mating of the two comets was done, and therefore it was a symbol that two dragons would be united as one. Okay, wow, I guess that's why you're speechless? Yes, I didn't know I was that special. Well, in Daenerys' eyes, you are. In any case, in the future, we foresee that a new type of symbol will be made publicly known for the religion of fire and ice gods. But she hasn't decided this yet because the time is not yet right. When that time comes, perhaps the practice of polygamy will return again. But for now, that has been put aside, and therefore the emblem for that has not been publicly revealed. This, of course, is confidentiality, and as a test for you, this is never to be spoken of. Do you understand? Yes, I do. Very well then, this concludes the basic lessons. Just need you to sign this scroll, and he puts it out in front of William. And then I shall inform the Queen that you have completed all that needs to be understood. I understand. So he signs where the um, assisting Lord Instructor points out, and when done, hands him back the quill. That'll be all for today, and you'll be returning to regular classes to complete the rest of the lessons that are expected of you. Thank you, my lord. And so with that, he then leaves the classroom and goes out to sit for a spell in the open terrace. As Daenerys is walking in the palace garden, the lord that just got through teaching William his basic lessons finds her. My queen? Yes, I have a completion record for his basic lessons of how things are done around here. Very well. He seems very astute to learn as much as he can And she's looking down at his record. Well, he seems to be doing well. And how is he doing? She looks at him. Well, he doesn't show any signs of regression or uh, any further weaknesses, if you're referring to his health. I am, and he seems to be doing fine. Yes. Well, then perhaps it's time to advance his lessons even further. He has still much to learn. I shall prepare other lessons that I will have to eventually give him myself. When you see the Lord Instructor, let him know that he'll be ready for regular lessons. I will, McQueen, so he bows before her. Thank you for the report. And then he takes off. She kind of listens and hears William in the background doing something. And so she walks slowly towards the terrace. Little does William know that she stops and listens to him. Oh, this is the way that I like to play, and this is the story of my life. Got a beauty queen, my very beautiful dragon queen. I shall spend the rest of my life with the beauty I see. She kind of has this big smile again because he's singing again. Liam. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I wasn't disturbing you. No. What was this you were singing? Oh, yeah, he's turning 3 shades of red again. I do like the color change about you, William. I was sorry. I guess I was thinking about you in a song. I do like this. Do you care to sit with me? So he does. And she kind of looks at him in a somewhat very loving manner. William, it seems that you are improving health wise and your lessons are showing much promise. Okay, so I'm still doing meeting your expectations. Yes. Um, you wish to ask me something? Well, I I know I'm a bit odd, and I know we're already married. I have no regrets. I have no desire to return to Earth, but well, since I'm the only one that's human, I I know I'm not like the men of your world. Well, I'm not displeased with this. Well, I mean, I must be kind of strange to you because I'm shorter than you are, and though my strength will double, I would imagine, since I've gone through this veil of passing, I I don't know. I just kind of feel like I'm just wondering, do I ever? I don't know. Do you ever have doubts about me? Doubts. Well, because I'm so human. She kind of looks at him in a strange way. This is supposed to be a problem. Well, because I'm not like the people of your world or you. My accent's different. I probably do things that you hopefully will find humorous, not too weird or strange. Um, I'm always hoping that I work hard to please you. You do, William. Um, I wouldn't ask you to change too much. These are things that I find attractive about you because you're not like any of the men of this world. Even though I think something's normal and, well, not that I try to act inappropriate, it's just well, I occasionally like to show much love to you, and it's not intentional if I should like hug you and grab your breasts and kiss you all over. It's just big fun. Well, well, I'm only speaking truth from the heart. Yes. Um, it's something that you have to work on, and I'm not going to hold this against you. If you were somebody else in the world that I chose as suitor, yes, I would not be pleased about this. But you're different, William. You you continually amuse me, and I hope that never changes. Well, I guess if you like me being naughty, I can. Well, that's not what I meant. But see, again, your humor I find attractive. Well, then I guess I have nothing to worry about then. No, William, you do not. She looks him deeply in the eyes. All you need to do is focus on your studies. You cannot displease me, William. I love you very much. Well, Daenerys, I love you very much too. And she gives him a kiss for the longest time. And then she looks back at him. And as far as being naughty goes, remember, I have ways of punishing you for being naughty, not to hurt you intentionally. Oh, well, then I look forward to being naughty so you can punish me again. She kind of laughs and shakes her head. Okay, William, I think it's time for you to go back to class and learn more lessons. Yeah, I guess you're right. I might end up saying something, get myself really in trouble. Perhaps so. And so she kind of watches William as he walks off, and then standing up has a smile shaking her head, but kind of realizes that he's only worried because he's trying so hard to make sure he never displeases her, and she finds this um, acceptable because it's the fact that he puts in the effort to always make her happy, even if he says and does strange things. So with that, William goes back to class, leaving the terrace as she goes back into the palace. After having picked up so easily the language, and though it took a little bit of time to learn, unlike that of English, William then is introduced to um, the other language, which is the learning of the Targaryen language. Now, of course, this may take a while because this is like, for William, based on his own experience, something similar to that of the kingdom of his homeworld, Earth. To learn Russian is considered the hardest language that any American would have to learn. So in this case, it's even more of a challenge because being human, for him to learn the native language of the Targaryens may take some time. However, he is assured once again, as before, that if he cannot pick it up, he may learn certain phrases, but that unless he's able to quickly decipher what is being said to him and speak back the answers or certain language that is spoken to him in the native language that he hears, this would not be held against him, but it would also be for his own best interest to allow someone who has the ability to speak the native language of the Targaryens to do so with certain diplomats and dignitaries. So this more or less is just a test to see what he can pick up and what can be accomplished. Okay, William, I'm going to show you some things to see if you can pick up on the language of the Targaryens. This is a language that you may find very difficult, but it will not be held against you. You understand? Yes. Okay. There are certain ways of things are pronounced. Unlike the language for the rest of the kingdoms, there are many vowels and consonants that are used. Though a word may mean one thing by one pronunciation, it can also mean something else if not pronounced correctly on the other hand. You understand what I'm saying? I think so. So it would have to be of great importance to know how to properly pronounce, say, a particular word, though you may not intend to offend anybody because you thought you were using a particular word in one sounding consonant or vowel sound. You may offend somebody because they'll take it
based on the sound of the word they hear as meaning something else. So it is a very, very ancient and articulate language that has to have proper pronunciation. I understand. So we're just going to test you to see how well you do. The Lord Instructor hands him a paper document that looks like as if it had a whole bunch of symbolic letters on it. Looks like some letters are upside down, but they are also for a specific pronunciation. Now, I want you to read this, see what you can figure out. There is about 4 listed languages here for you to test out. For the phonology, you can read this on your own time. And I will go ahead and read this, and then you can give this a try. There are 4 grammatical genders, which do not align with biological sex. The Valyrian names for the genders are, go ahead, William, see if you could pronounce these. Hurin Quograr. That means lunar class. Go ahead. Vezenkon Quograr. That would be solar class. Tigonar Quograr. That would be terrestrial class. Imbonar Quograr. And that is aquatic class. Okay, I have a question. Yes, William. Well, if these are the classes about someone who is a gender of your world, what would be the class for me being a male from a world far away from your own? That would be interesting. Being that you come from a dark blue star you call Earth. Well, this is history in the making, and perhaps you might even try this with Khaleesis. She might find this fascinating, that you have developed something for it is not yet documented. Because you come from a solar system far, far from our own, you would come from a solar class. But at the same time, you are alien to our world, so therefore you are also a terrestrial class. So what would you get if you put solar and terrestrial together? Vezenkon Tigonar Quograr. Very good. So you now have identified your own gender being not of our world, and because you are one of a kind. This is quite interesting. Now, there are certain consonants, and again, you'll see in the consonantal verbs that their many meanings can be of a first, second, third person, or something that is imperative. For example, to raise or lift would be, take your time, Maneregan. Well, that's pretty good. It's don't know if the pronunciation is correct, but again, that is a good try. For blue and green, there is a certain class, which we call class 1 objectives. So blue and green is put together and makes a certain color in the Targaryen language. Uh, Costa, good. That was an easy one. Let's see. Okay, now on the class 2 objectives, something that is sleek, smooth, slippery, fast, or quick. Okay. Adere. Correct. If it is something smooth, it would be adere. Correct. Wow. So Khaleesi has a dairy skin. Well, I don't know if we want to put it that way, but yeah, I guess you could say that. Sorry. That is okay, but like I said, until you get this language down, you must be careful how you speak, even if you mix it with the common language of the kingdoms, because again, depending on how you pronounce it, could be considered offensive or misunderstood, and they may look at you with confusion, not knowing what you're trying to say. I understand. So that is the introduction of the language of the native language of the House of Targaryen. You did quite well for the very first time. I think she would be very well pleased. So, in case, this concludes our introductory lesson to the native language of the House of Targaryen. Looks like also it's getting kind of late, so we'll pick up lessons tomorrow, and this will go into the political aspects of the kingdoms. Thank you, instructor, Lord Instructor. It's okay. You're doing good, and you're going to eventually get people's names and titles right, as that too is going to be a learning experience. Okay, well, thank you, and I will see you tomorrow then. You have a good day, William. And so with that, the class is over for the day.
As Daenerys then stood on the balcony, thinking about the funny situation that she had incurred with William singing and then him being so worried that he might displease her and everything, she gets an unexpected visitor. Um, Queen Daenerys. Yes. Oh, I know you. You're the assistant to the astronomer. Yes, I was told to report to you for some discoveries that we had just recently made. Well, please come in and sit down. So she sits down with him, and he chooses to stand. If it's all right with you, stand. I wish to show you some things. And so she accepts this, and he digs out some things that were merely sketched out. He puts the first one in front of her, and she looks down to examine it. We already know that as you look in the Valyrian night sky, this would be considered the shadow of passing, when the two moons pass each other. Yes. Well, you had stated when he first, your human husband, William, first came to this world, they pointed to a dark blue star in the sky. Yes. Well, first I would want you to know that you shouldn't be too upset with him because, again, since he is not of our world, he tried to find his homeworld best he can. And being he's never been on our world before, he didn't exactly point to the right one, but we did find it. He kind of looks up at him. So the one he pointed to wasn't his homeworld. No, but we did find the location of where he come from, at least from the mathematical equations that we could gather. Please continue. So she looks down again as he puts the next one in front of her. Here, though it is a bright blue star shining brightly in the Valyrian night sky, it wouldn't be as big as like some of the blue stars you look at. But it does shine brightly on a very clear night. And because we're a little higher up on the mountainside, further east, we have a kind of a clear view when there's no windstorms kicking out dust. So we made a notation here. And she sees it looks very, very tiny, but still somewhat bright blue. As we were able to zoom in, because we do have our new telescope at the what he calls observatory, the building plans he gave us is still underway. We were able to zoom in a little closer. This is probably what he meant when he said bright blue star shining in a Valyrian night sky. She seems intrigued by this. Oh, wow. And it almost looks green. Well, it's more like of a teal blue, to be more precise. Something a little lighter. Cross between green and blue. All right. Is there more? Yes. The best we could get, because it looks, we can't see with our own eyes, but thanks to this new telescope lens that we have now a large telescope with, because we wanted to test this out and see how far it could show, we found that there's a dark cloud, as you can see. I would imagine this is what he would call a galaxy. And I think he said this was supposed to be like Milky Way as the name of this galaxy. And again, we found the dark blue star on the very outermost part of the galaxy. Oh, wow. I am actually looking at William's location of his home world. It's so far away. Yes. Well, the fact that he got here in our world through whatever this vortex or doorway as symbolism is everything, and he said symbolically one way in, no way back, it must have been quite the distance. Yes. And she looks up at him. I would imagine so. Well, I thought you might like to see these. I can't stay long, but anyway, I thought I'd share this with you and let you know our progress. And then Masandi comes in. Hello. Yeah, I can't remember your name. It's okay. I can't stay long, but it's nice seeing you again, Miss Sandy. She seems kind of surprised because she's the only one that don't know his name, but yet he knows hers. Daenerys gets up from the table then and stands at the balcony. Thank you for sharing this information with me. Can I keep these? Yes, by all means. We have copies. Thank you. So he bows before her and takes his leave. So, what was this about? Well, apparently, when there's been a discovery, although William was a little bit off when he tried to find the dark blue star in the Valyrian night sky to where he was at, I won't hold this against him. It wasn't intentional that he was trying to deceive me. It's just that because he's in our world and can't get back home, he could have picked any blue star. But he was correct. There is a dark blue star that shines brightly in the Valyrian night sky, and now we know where it's at. Oh, this is good. So, anything else happened today? Yes. And William seems so concerned that he's going to please me or displease me or something. So she invites Masandi then to stand with her as she shares again woman-to-woman secrets about what transpired in the terrace. Meantime, William comes across the astronomer assistant. Hey, long time no see. Yeah, same to you too. What have you been up to? Well, studying hard, trying to learn Targaryen laws, customs, traditions, proper etiquettes. Yeah, sounds like you got a lot of work cut out for you. Yeah, you have no idea. It's not easy being a, well, human. The guy laughs about this. Yes, and considering you're the only one of your kind, yeah, well, I guess I'm trying to do my best not to displease our queen. So what brings you in our neck of the woods? Woods, there's no trees here. Sorry, it's human saying again. Oh, I gotcha. So, well, I wanted to share some things with Daenerys, and perhaps when the time's right, she'll share them with you too. Some discoveries we made. The lens uh, suggestion you made for us has been completed, and we tested it out. Works great. We're still working on what you call this building that's round, an observatory. Okay. Um, so I can't stay long, but I have to head back. I'll probably stop along the way and continue on the next day. Very well. Oh, as long as you're here, can you wait for a moment? Sure. So William runs to the chambers real quick, grabs a note, and runs back. Sorry, I was not trying to run to the palace halls. Believe nobody saw that. Um, I know I said I was going to give this to you when you finally get the building finished, but I thought maybe you'd like to have this now. And he looks at it. This is kind of a side view of my homeworld. Very good. Yes, I'd love to have this. Well, then, we already have the original paintings. I just kind of copied this when I had free time now and then. Perhaps the astronomer will be interested in when he's able to test this new supersize far-icing glass, what we call a telescope. He might see if he can see anything, or at least gives him some ideas what the worlds of my solar system and galaxy look like. Yes, well, I think we're sure he will appreciate this. I would chat longer, but I really have to go. Well, that's fine. I won't hold you up. Safe journey then. Yes, William, and good luck on your studies. Thank you. And so they shake hands, and then they go their separate ways.
After a dinner banquet had been completed for the evening, Khaleesi, of course, didn't want to wear William out too soon because of the near-death experience he had. But she had something else in mind for him in their chamber. As she and William got undressed and they sat together on the bed with no clothes on, William decided to tell her of what he had learned. Khaleesi, yes, William, I have possibly a surprise for you, though it is something that they introduced to me and they said they wouldn't hold it against me. The native language for which you speak is very difficult, but I was introduced to your language. I don't know if my pronunciations would be correct, but I've learned about the lunar class, solar class, terrestrial class, aquatic class. I have also been introduced to something called to raise or lift. She seemed delighted and her eyebrows raised and a big smile came on her face. And I guess you have a certain way of calling a color like blue and green being mixed. And I think for something like that is sleek, smooth, slippery, fast, or quick. So may I demonstrate this to you? I wouldn't want to offend you because I don't know proper pronunciations. By all means, Will, I'd like to hear this to see if how well you have done, even though you have been introduced to this. All right. Well, because you have beautiful, smooth skin, I believe if I've chosen the right, and William happens to have a note that he made nearby, looking at it, I believe I would, if I knew the full way of complimenting you, I would say that you would have a dairy skin, She kind of grins a bit. You were close, but that is a good try. Okay. I guess a color of blue and green mixed together is called Costa. Yeah, something to this effect. Yes, that is good. Um, to raise or lift, I believe it's pronounced Manaragan. She kind of laughs a bit. Well, you speak through the nose, but that is okay. At least you gave it a good try. Is there anything else that you kind of have picked up on? Well, I guess that you have something about 4 grammatical genders regarding the biological sex of the people of this world. Lunar class, I think, is pronounced Huracan Quograr. Continue. Solar class is Vezencon Quograr. She nods her head. Um, terrestrial class is Teganar Quograr. She seems very delighted. Her eyebrows raise a bit. And your aquatic class is Ebenor Quograr. You are doing well, though that you, again, have much to learn about pronunciation, but it is okay if you cannot master this language. The ancient Targaryen language, as you know, is actually called the Valyrian language. It is an ancient language of my culture. Well, then could you say something, if I may request it, in your Valyrian language? She thinks for a moment. Yes. And then, with her head slightly turned to the left, but her eyes fixed on him, and a smile, she says something in Valyrian, which William does not understand. Did you understand? Then she looks straight on at him. Well, not really. But I kind of can interpret by your facial expression, it must have had something to do with love. She seems really delighted. Yeah, yes, but there was a little more to it than that. But you did well in almost figuring, based on my expressions of what I was saying, I had told you I love you, William, in Valerian. Wow. Well, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Khaleesi. When you speak your Valerian language, especially with the expression I saw on your face, it sounded very beautiful, like that of a female goddess or an angel. Again, she kind of shakes her head with a smile. You and your strange custom in the way you speak to a lady, though we do not have female gods, I accept this as a very good compliment. But thank you. I also might have something that, according to my Lord Instructor, who's introduced me to this, I had asked him because I do not, as a human, fit into any of your 4 classes. He said this would be something that you might find as a historical moment because I have made my own self-identity in your world based in your Valerian language because of my sex gender. Shall I give it a try? Yes, by all means. Well, because I come from a dark blue star far, far away, known as Earth, I would be of a solar class. But at the same time, I'm also alien to your world, so I am also terrestrial class. So which case, being both solar and terrestrial, in your language, I believe I would be Vezenkan Teganar Quograr. She had a big grin. You are doing well, William. This is pleasing. This I shall keep record of and make note of this, for you have given yourself self-identity. This truly makes you one of us, for you are now of a class in itself, being that there is only one of you and no others like you or your kind here on this world. I am well pleased with this. You have learned to identify yourself in the Valyrian way. Perhaps if you do not get a chance to learn more of the Valyrian language, though we tried when we had learned to break the language barrier between us, I can try again and maybe teach you some simple words or phrases to see how well you would maybe pick it up this time. I would be delighted to have you as my teacher. Yes, and I would be delighted to teach you. So with that, she and William then rub scented oils all over each body, others' bodies, and in a loving way. She enjoys rubbing oils all over him, and of course is quite stimulated, especially with a firm grip. Rubs oils all over his long extended pole as he rubs oils all over her beautiful breasts and hard erect nipples. This then of course leads into long hours of lovemaking, and she rewards him with anything that he desires of her, including golden waters, and they have long hours of lovemaking. As it gets late in the evening, then they finally kiss each other for a long time, and she holds William close to her and happy that he did not pass on because of the passing of the veil, and he holds her gently and tightly in his arms around her, and they have a very long, peaceful night of being in love with each other in their arms.